Ma'am, with your permission, shall we start?
Yes, please begin.
So good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the launch ceremony of 22 Actions for Biodiversity, a 22 days campaign to commemorate International Biodiversity Day 2022. The theme of this year's celebration is Building a Shared Future for All Life. Science City celebrates Biodiversity Day every year, but this year's celebration is unique and exciting in its at the same time. So we are first time aligning with the Convention of Biological Diversity and United Nations Biodiversity Conference. I feel privileged to announce that 30 institutions from all over Punjab have joined us in this 22 days, 22 actions program. These institutes have formed STRs clubs and nature clubs in their respective schools and colleges. During these 2 days, there will be many activities, and that has already been shared with all of you. So the project is sponsored by East West Seed India Private Limited and technically supported by National Biodiversity Board, Government of India. So today, to begin the ceremony, we have with us our Honorable Director General, Science City, Dr. Nilima Jarat ji. We also have Dr. Rajesh Grover, Director, Science City, Ms. Ananda, Head of Public Affairs, East West Seed Private Limited, Mrs. Paramjeet Kaur, Principal, Kamla Nehru Public School, Phagwara, and Dr. Loveleen Barad, Scientist C from Science City, Kapurthala. With this, I request Dr. Rajesh Grover, Director, Science City, to welcome our guests. Sir, please, over to you.
Thank you, Kamal, and very good afternoon to everybody joining us on this platform. And esteemed Dr. Nilima Jarat, Director General Pushpa Viraj Science City, Ms. Ananda, Head of the Public Affairs East West Seed India Private Limited, Mrs. Paramjeet Kaur Dhillon, Principal of Kamla Nehru Public School, Phagwara, dear teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. And ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇਸ ਲਾਂਚ ਸੈਰੀਮਨੀ 22 ਡੇਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਾਇਓਡਾਇਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਨਾਉਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ I welcome you all, and for your kind information I would like to tell that this project is being sponsored by East West Seed India Private Limited, and technical support is being provided by National Biodiversity Authority, Government of India. जिस तरह कि आप जानते हो कि climate change जो है बहुत तेजी नाल हो रहा हैगा और काफी हद तक ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ human actions these are responsible for this climate change. And for example, when we talk of the deforestation, we talk of the encroachment, wildlife habitat, agriculture, we talk of intensified agriculture. In fact, in a way, we have really pushed the nature beyond its limit, I must say that. And if we continue on this path, definitely biodiversity loss will have its severe impact, and our whole of the food and health system is going to collapse. And we have seen this in the last 2 years. The message was very clear from with the emergence of the COVID-19 that we need to take collective actions. And in fact, जो ये हम 22 days का कैंपेन करने जा रहे हैं, ये बेसिकली उसका जो है एक हमारा एफर्ट है एक कैंपेन का कि ताकि जो लोगों को, सोसाइटी को हम मैक्सिमम मोटिवेट कर सकें, उसको एनकरेज कर सकें कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी को हमें कंजर्व करने की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. और बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज़, जिस तरह की कमल ने बताया आपको कि हमारी बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज़, चाहे वो लेक्चर्स हैं, चाहे फिल्म शोज़ हैं, बर्ड वाचिंग है, कितने ही तरह के कॉम्पिटिशन्स हैं, नेचर वॉक है, या और भी बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम जो कि हम हाइब्रिड मोड में ऑनलाइन एंड ऑन साइट प्रोग्राम्स जो हम साइंस सिटी की तरफ से करवा रहे हैं. और ये सारे के सारे जो 22 डेज प्रोग्राम है, ये अल्टीमेटली इनका जो कल्मिनेट करेंगे ये 22 डेज प्रोग्राम, वो हमारा इंटरनेशनल डे ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी जो कि 22 मई को हम सेलिब्रेट करेंगे. और जिसका इस बार स्लोगन दिया गया है बिल्डिंग ए शेयर्ड फ्यूचर फॉर ऑल लाइफ। सो जो है वो हमारा 22 डे को इसका जो है वो समापन होगा। और हम ये होप करते हैं कि जो ये प्रोग्राम है वो हमारी जो पब्लिक में, हमारे सोसाइटी के अंदर एक पैशन जनरेट करेगा टू कंजर्व एंड मैनेज दिस बायोडाइवर्सिटी रिसोर्सेज। और इसमें हमारी बायोडाइवर्सिटी की जो रिसोर्सेज है उसकी जो नॉलेज है वो हमारे सोसाइटी के अंदर मैक्सिमम ट्रांसफर होगी। और ज़्यादा वक्त ना लेता हुआ मैं यहाँ पर वेलकम करूँगा हमारे डायरेक्टर जनरल डॉक्टर नीलिमा जैरत का, जो कि हमारे साथ आज इस प्रोग्राम में शामिल हुए हैं। और साथ ही वेलकम करना चाहूँगा हमारे मिस आनंदा, हेड ऑफ द पब्लिक अफेयर्स ईस्ट वेस्ट सीड इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, जो हमारे साथ जो उनकी कंपनी का जो कमिटमेंट है टुवर्ड्स बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन वो एक अपने आप में एक इंडिकेट करता है। मैं आई वार्मली वेलकम यू मैम, एंड आई ऑल्सो वेलकम मिसिस परमजीत कौर, प्रिंसिपल कमला नेहरू पब्लिक स्कूल, फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस ऑन दिस प्लेटफॉर्म। और साथ ही मैं वेलकम करना चाहूँगा अपने सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स पर जिन्होंने इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे हमें ज्वाइन किया हुआ है। ओवर टू यू कमल।
थैंक्स अ लॉट सर। और सर मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि बच्चे इक्वली एंथुजियास्टिक हैं, जितने एक्साइटेड हम हैं इस प्रोग्राम को लेकर उतने ही बच्चे एक्साइटेड हैं। और हमें सुबह से फर्स्ट एक्टिविटी के फोटोग्राफ्स मिलने भी शुरू हो गए हुए हैं। अभी तक हमारे पास पहुंच चुके हैं फोटोग्राफ सबके ही, और सबने फर्स्ट एक्टिविटी दैट वाज क्लीन एन एरिया अराउंड यू परफॉर्म भी कर ली है, और हमारे साथ फोटोज जो हैं अपने पिक्चर्स वो शेयर करे हैं। सो बेस्ट ऑफ लक एवरीवन for the future activities as well. So moving ahead, I request Honorable Director General Science City, Dr. Jared, to launch the program formally and to give the inaugural remarks. But before that, ma'am, we seek your permission to light the lamp virtually. So
Yes, please. Please do light the lamp.
thank you, ma'am.
A lamp always symbolizes knowledge. So just as a little lamp can spread knowledge all around, I'm sure the actions which you do would also spread knowledge.
May the light of knowledge enlighten our minds. So with this, I request ma'am to give the inaugural remarks. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kamal. Madam Paramjeet Kaur, Miss Ananda, Dr. Grover, mentors of today's program who are leading the students, as well as all the students from the SDGs clubs, as well as from nature clubs from various institutions. A very good afternoon to you. मुझे आज बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है ये देखकर कि आप सब इस लॉन्च प्रोग्राम में शामिल हुए हो। बहुत गर्मी है, we all know that, and that is one of the reasons that we decided that we'll do the launch program later, but we would not want to expose our children to a lot of heat. So we decided that let them do today's activity early in the morning. So that's how Kamal was telling you that she has already received the pictures of today's program. I'm so happy that all of you are participating willingly. जैसे कि आपको बताया गया, it's a campaign, a 22-day campaign. Each of the day we would be doing different activities. So there would be 22 activities. And we all know that these activities would be related to biodiversity. Now, biodiversity is something, it's a word which we have heard so many times. You already know about it. We define biodiversity as the variety of plants and animals around us. पर अगर हम biodiversity की बात करें, तो वो variety of plants and animals के beyond है. Normally जब हम plants and animals की बात करते हैं, तो वो होते हैं जो हमें दिख रहे हैं. पर ऐसे बहुत से हैं जो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स हैं, हमें नहीं दिख रहे, but they do contribute. They are the major part of our biodiversity, and our actions need to protect not only the large plants and animals, the plants and animals which are in the wild, the plants and animals which are in our farms, which are around us, in the villages, in urban areas, everywhere. So anything which depicts life is biodiversity. And when we talk about biodiversity, we also sometimes go up to the level of genes. For example, गर्मी का मौसम है तो आम की बात करते हैं. आजकल मार्केट में बहुत तरह के आम हैं. तो हर तरह का आम आपको लंगड़ा भी दिखता है, दशहरी भी दिखता है, चौसा है. So many varieties of mangoes around you, and all those contribute to the diversity, the biodiversity of our planet. If we talk about mango only, India has, I think, more than 4,000 varieties of mangoes. और पंजाब में भी एक बाग है जिसका नाम है इनामी बाग, होशियारपुर जिले में है. इस बाग में there are 37 varieties of mangoes, which is very, very unique. They are typical चूसने वाला आम जिसे कहते हैं ना, sucking type of mango की varieties हैं उसमें, and all of them are unique. So sometime if you get some time, do visit that area and enjoy the mangoes of that orchard. Similarly, besides this, there are, if we talk about rice, there are about 40,000 varieties of rice, which constitute the huge, huge diversity in rice in our country. And many of these varieties are still in use. Many of these varieties have got very special features. Some can grow in salty water, some can grow with less water, some need to be remain dipped in water so they can grow in flood conditions. So all this is our heritage, and all this is our biodiversity. Similarly, if we talk about animals, what can be for a common man a better example than dogs about biodiversity? There are about 200 breeds of dogs in the world. And out of these 200, 25 indigenous breeds are found in India alone. So, and besides that, there are the other breeds which people bring from outside. We have got buffaloes. We talk about cattle. You would have heard about the Gir cow. You would have heard about the Vechur cow. The Vechur cow is a dwarf cow, but it is very, very ecologically stable in the area where it is found. So then there is another cow which is known as Tharparkar. अब उसके नाम से ही आप समझ लीजिए कि ये एक ऐसी गाय है जो पैदल गर्मी में थार यानी डेजर्ट, थार को पार कर सकती है, इसीलिए उसका नाम थारपारकर है. तो ये सारी हमारी बायोडाइवर्सिटी जो है, इसके बारे में हमें पता भी होना चाहिए और इसकी हमें कंजर्वेशन के लिए एक्शन भी लेना चाहिए. अब आप सवाल पूछोगे कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों है? ठीक है, बहुत सारी वैरायटीज हैं, हमें बहुत कुछ देती हैं, पर फिर भी इतनी क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है? तो आपको मैं बताऊं कि अगर हम सिर्फ बायोडाइवर्सिटी से जो इकोसिस्टम सर्विसेज, पानी साफ करना, हवा साफ करना, पॉलिनेशन, स्प्रेड ऑफ सीड्स, ये जितनी सर्विसेज हमारी बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी से होती हैं, अगर इसको हम एक रफ एस्टिमेट लगाया गया है पूरी दुनिया में, तो इट अमाउंट्स टू, अगर ये सर्विसेज हमें खुद करनी या करवानी पड़े, तो हमें 1250 ट्रिलियन खर्च करना पड़ेगा, यानी कि तकरीबन 900 खरब रुपए। अब आप सोचिए कि कितनी ज्यादा वैल्यू है जिसको कि हम एक फ्री गुड समझते हैं। सो दैट इज व्हाई इट नीड्स टू बी कंजर्व। और अगर हम कंजर्वेशन करते हैं और हम 1 रुपया कंजर्वेशन में खर्च करते हैं, तो बदले में हमारे बायोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेज जो हमें बेनिफिट्स देते हैं वो 9 रुपए के बराबर है, यानी कि 9 गुना बढ़ाकर हमें बेनिफिट्स मिलते हैं अगर हम अपनी बायोडाइवर्सिटी को कंजर्व करते हैं। 1 करोड़ नौकरियां दुनिया में सिर्फ फॉरेस्ट इकोसिस्टम के थ्रू आती हैं, और आप बाकी इकोसिस्टम्स को देख लीजिए, एग्रीकल्चरल इकोसिस्टम की तो हम बात ही छोड़ दें, उसमें कितनी ज्यादा दुनिया उस की जॉब जो है उस पर डिपेंड करती हैं। अब जब बायोडाइवर्सिटी इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है और बहुत सारी कंट्रीज और बहुत सारी इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इस पे काम भी कर रही हैं, तो आप लोग जो खासकर बच्चे हो वो कहोगे, पूछोगे कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं इसमें, what can I do? So I just want to let you know that everyone is important. Everyone can contribute. Everyone can participate in individually or as a community to conserve these biological resources which are our lifeline, जिनके बिना हमारा planet नहीं है, जिनके बिना हम नहीं रह सकते. And that is why this year the United Nations decided to take up biodiversity as a campaign. हर साल हम एक दिन मनाते थे, इस बार उन्होंने कहा कि हम इसे कैंपेन की तरह मनाएंगे. 22 दिन हम काम करेंगे, 22 अलग अलग एक्टिविटीज पे काम करेंगे, ताकि हम लोगों को ये बता सकें कि अगर आप एक एक्टिविटी में अगर आपको लगता है आप कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर सकते तो दूसरी में कर सकते हो. So there are so many ways of contributing towards biodiversity conservation. So in this campaign, we have also therefore adopted this campaign, and in this campaign, we have taken up some very simple activities. Every day, the activity is different. So I would really love if all of you could participate every day into these programs and contribute and send your slogans, send your pictures to us. आपकी pictures चुन के हम अपने सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स पे भी लगाएंगे, अपनी वेबसाइट पे लगाएंगे, और हम आपको हैशटैग भी करेंगे. आप खुद भी लगा सकते हो, पर आप हमें भी भेजो, और हमारी साइट के थ्रू आपको हम कोशिश करेंगे कि हम दुनिया में दिखा सकें कि इंडिया में एक छोटी सी जगह से अगर हम चाहें, अगर हम मिलके काम करें तो हम कितना कुछ कर सकते हैं, कितने लोगों को समझा सकते हैं, कितने लोगों को बता सकते हैं. So this campaign, through this campaign, I expect that we'll create a frenzy. उन लोगों को जिन्होंने बायोडाइवर्सिटी का नाम भी नहीं सुना, उन्हें भी बायोडाइवर्सिटी के बारे में पता लग जाना चाहिए. आप जब अपनी एक्टिविटीज करें, अपने पेरेंट्स को, अपने साथियों को, अपने फ्रेंड्स को, सबको अपने साथ लेके चलें, सबको टैग करें साथ में. और फिजिकल इवेंट्स तो आप करेंगे ही, हर फिजिकल इवेंट में आप लोगों को इन्वॉल्व करें. बहुत सारे इवेंट्स हम ऑनलाइन कर रहे हैं, सो दैट वी आर ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग सम एक्सपर्ट्स टू यू, जो आपसे बड़ी सिंपल भाषा में कुछ कॉम्प्लेक्स बातें बताएंगे. सो प्रोबेबली उसमें भी आपको वो सब सुनना अच्छा लगेगा, और आपको पता लगेगा कि दुनिया में कहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है और कितना कुछ हो रहा है. सो व्हाट वी रियली एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम यू इज to build a frenzy and to carry a message that nature is beautiful, nature needs to be conserved, and we all need to live with nature, in nature. So with this, I formally launch the program, and best wishes for all the 22 activities and all the 22 days. And not only these 22 days, not only up till 22nd May, best wishes for beyond as well, because for humankind, every day has to be Biodiversity Day. Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks for launching this campaign formally. मैम ने जैसा कि आपको बताया कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट है, और उसी बायोडाइवर्सिटी की एक झलक आपको देने के लिए हम लोगों ने इनवाइट करा आपको साइंस सिटी में बर्ड वॉचिंग के लिए और नेचर वॉक के लिए, जहाँ पे आप प्लांट बायोडाइवर्सिटी और बर्ड्स में भी बायोडाइवर्सिटी को यहाँ पे उसकी एक झलक जो है वो देख पाओगे। तो इनफैक्ट मैं आपको ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आप बार बार आते रहो साइंस सिटी और इस बायोडाइवर्सिटी को आप इंजॉय करो। सो मूविंग अहेड, I now request our special guest, Ms. Ananda, Head of Public Affairs, East West Seed Private Limited, to give special remarks on this occasion. Please, ma'am.
Namaste. Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here, to be among such very illustrious teachers and experts on biodiversity and young people here. And I'm so glad that I had an opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. My name is Ananda, and I'm Head of Corporate Communications and Public Affairs for East West Seed India. And I'm very glad to note that Pushpa Gujral Science City is formally launching the International Biodiversity event starting today for the next 22 days. Along with SDG clubs in schools, which are created under SDASK, which is Sustainable Development Attitude, Skills and Knowledge Program. This is a very pertinent thing to be done about biodiversity today. As Madam has already explained to you, it is what will preserve us enduringly in the times to come. And this is one thing which is very close to my heart. Before I speak a few words about that, and I'd like to share a little bit about the journey of East West Seed in India. And we are a perfect example of, supporting and conserving biodiversity. We are a global leader, tropical vegetable seed market, and we have been here for almost 40 years, and in India for 18 years, producing, breeding, and delivering high quality vegetable seeds. And Dr. Simon Groot, who is our founder of East West Seed, is the winner of World Food Prize 2019. And one of his favorite topics is biodiversity. And the reason that is also the undercurrent for the conceptualization of this company, East West Seed India, is also the variety, especially in vegetable seeds that can be brought about, which are customized to each and every country. So you see how it is, it's all connected. So in our endeavor, we offer 32 crops and offer 170 plus varieties of different vegetable seeds in the country. To just give you an example, we have come out with many novel varieties like less bitter gourd. Can you imagine that? A bitter gourd which is less bitter, and a half long bitter gourd, which is small bitter gourd, and seedless watermelons. We have also introduced butternut squash, which is a new variety. A small side snake gourds, which are, usually very long, but we have introduced a small sized one, which will help small, families to just make very healthier choices, because normally we tend to buy bigger vegetables and then we cut them up and then we put them in the vegetable refrigerator, which is not good for the nutrients because the nutrients get lost, right? So when you introduce a small variety, which we call personal size, you can actually, finish it in one-time cooking. And that's also in very much a part of our culture in India. I was just hearing to Sadhguru's lecture yesterday. He says one of the tips to stay young is to eat nutritional, fresh food, not something which you store and eat, so that's very good for health. We have also launched Co-Grow, which is, for 14 crops, which are designed to help enthusiastic gardeners to do kitchen gardening or, put up small things in their verandas or, in your planter boxes in the house. Today, we serve more than 1.5 million smallholder farmers. And this is also our founder's dream, to serve the smallholder farmers, because they have small tracts of land in which they can grow lots of vegetables. So coming to biodiversity, all this is possible because we are committed to the principles of biodiversity, isn't it? So biodiversity is life, and India's true wealth is biodiversity. And we are very lucky to have the confluence of three major realms, which is the Indo-Malayan, Eurasian, and Afro-tropical, geographical regions in the country. So if you would like to see some facts, we have 2.4% of land area, and we have 7 to 8% of recorded species, while supporting 18% of human and cattle population. So tremendous biotic pressure, and we have 45,000 species of plants and 91,000 species of animals recorded here so far. As Madam has told, diversity of ecosystems such as forests, we have grasslands, we have wetlands, we have mangroves, we have coral reefs and desert and whatnot. So we are an acknowledged center for crop biodiversity. And as you probably know, and you will probably come to know why is it so important now as a topic, is we have adopted the Nagoya Protocol, which is an international protocol, which has an objective to realize the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from utilization of genetic resources. So we have, this has come into force in 2014, and we have, India as a country has enacted a Biodiversity Act. All these are important for you to understand, because you are the future of this country, and you are the ones to bear the torch and to take this movement forward, where we conserve this biodiversity as wealth for future generations. So why is biodiversity important? We have heard a lot from Madam, and till today, it's a scientific fact that we have not been actually able to unravel what exactly is the function of each plant or organism in the overall scheme of nature. My father, who is a botanist, a very renowned one at that, he's a cytogeneticist as well. He would say any plant might be the last species known to science and contain the wonder drug that will cure deadly diseases. So you never know what is the potential that we hold in our hands. Anything is possible. Tomorrow, like ma'am was telling, we have so many rice varieties which grow all over the country in different regions. So you see, all of these things are so useful. Thailand, for instance, as a country, has documented all its, medicinal plants, for instance, and their uses. For instance, what is their exact, the way it functions and what are its curative properties. So I'm sure we have also a wealth in our midst. We have to open our eyes. We are increasingly becoming very urban. We always think, like my, 3-year-old niece, when I asked her, where does the tomato come from? She said, from the fridge. So I wouldn't want that to happen to our young people. You, in this 22 days, I hope you will all learn how important it is to have these varieties among us, and how we can conserve it, ways to conserve it in a fun and in a refreshing way. You will learn from all, from the teachers and all the, experts who you are very lucky to have them with you. For instance, I had my father who took me to the fields, and then he took me to, various, mountainsides and everything, just to make me observe the different types of plants. So I made herbariums and that sort of thing, just to understand what are the different types of plants and what are the different types of varieties. So these are all very fun things for you to understand. And science is exciting, let me tell you, exciting, more exciting than technology. It's easy, it's stimulating, and it's a very good learning for you all. And I hope you will have a wonderful time of 22 days doing fun things. But I wish that you internalize this process. You understand for what it is, not just as some activity that you did as a part of your school curriculum or some competition, or, just because somebody told you, but you should understand, what sort of, like, for instance, Madam has talked about the different types of mangoes. If we didn't conserve that and we just had one standard mango, would it be fun? This is the treasure that we have. So we must do our best in order to conserve it. And I hope, blessings to all of you. And I hope that you will all, carry forward this wonderful spirit of, conserving and keeping together our biodiversity for decades to come, rather for centuries more to come. Thank you very much. And I'm very glad that we got a chance as ESWC to be here, because our founder, Dr. Simon Groot, firmly believes in connecting with different types of stakeholders, young people, women, and on the topic of agriculture, on the topic of, biodiversity. So I'm so glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks for your words of wisdom. एंड आई होप, जैसा कि आपने कहा कि बच्चे सिर्फ इसको कंपटीशन या फिर एक जो इवेंट है उसका पार्ट मान के ना चलें, इसको अंदर ग्रहण करें अपने, और फिर उसको जो है वो लाइफ लॉन्ग प्रोसेस एक अपने साथ साथ लाइफ लॉन्ग उसको अपने साथ लेके चलें. सो बिफोर आई प्रोसीड, I feel glad to share that Science City staff has also participated in the 22 Actions program. And here are some glimpses of the day one activity, that is clean an area around you. So can we have the screen pictures, please? Yeah. So here are our staff members who cleaned the area. That's it.
Great to see all of you around. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. This was just to motivate others also who were visiting Science City today. They were watching us doing this activity. They were also motivated. So
Great.
Thanks for giving this opportunity and giving this idea to us. So
let me tell all of you, especially those who don't know, that we have a 72-acre campus. So it's a huge campus. And on this campus, we have planted more than 5,500 trees. We have a medicinal plant garden, which is a small medicinal plant garden, a small cactus garden, but we have a nature study area. And during summer vacations, we do organize nature camps for children.
So thanks, everyone. And now I request Mrs. Paramjeet Kaur, Principal, Kamala Nehru Public School, Phagwara, to share her idea of celebrating and conducting activities on biodiversity. So please, madam.
Thank you so much, Betty. I would like to share my presentation, if you can make me the presenter.
Sure, ma'am.
It'll be a quick, this thing.
Yeah. So we can't see you, ma'am, and your screen as well. So
just a minute. I'm sharing. I'm sharing. Now, can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll take a second, and first of all, I'm very, very thankful to all of you for inviting me, and my regards to Dr. Neelima Jairath. Ma'am, thank you very much for this invite, and I'm so delighted to be part of this. Director General Pushpa Gujral Science City. I'm also thankful to Dr. Rajesh Grover, and so happy to meet Ms. Ananda also, and all the students and the mentors who have joined us for this wonderful session. So let's move on, and here we go. I'm here to share my experience. I thought I'll just begin a little bit about biodiversity. We've already talked much about it, so maybe I'll be fast on that issue. So it's International Biodiversity Day in May, which we are celebrating for all these 22 years. Simple, bio and diversity means life and variety. And then, of course, the biodiversity, we've already talked much about it, everything. All sources means deserts and mangroves and corals and land, life on land, life below water, and everything talks about. It is a difference. Diversity it's a difference between the species and amongst the species. So all that constitute three types of biodiversity. I am moving a little fast over here because we have talked about it. Genetic biodiversity, everything to do with genetics, and then species diversity, difference between the same species, and the ecological biodiversity, that is the deserts. They have different types of plants and animals, and if it's mangroves, it's different, and so on. I would like to talk about links between SDGs and biodiversity. This is the UNO year, 2022 theme is building a shared future for all life. And the moment we talk about shared future, it is the 17 sustainable development goals which comes to our mind. And if we want to have a shared future, and if we want to have a sustainable world, then it is these 17 sustainable development goals which we need to achieve, and that becomes very, very important. So, biodiversity underpins human well-being and livelihood. And that is vital for the achievement of all SDGs. I have these 17 sustainable development goals over here. So goal number 14 and 15, we are all aware it's life below water, it's life on land, everything to do with biodiversity. And if I talk about SDG 1 and SDG 8, everything is related. When I talk about 8, it's all about economic growth also. And here I'm talking about people who are living in forests, those fishermen, and then small landholders, and they all depend upon natural resources. So if they have these natural resources, then ladies and gentlemen, the poverty would not be there for them. And then biodiversity is also related to SDG 2, when we talk about, the livestock and the crops. So if that is there, then zero hunger would not be there. And biodiversity is all about good health and well-being, because if the ecosystem is healthy, all right, then it would help us to mitigate the air, water, soil pollution. All these would be taken care of. And then, of course, when you talk about biodiversity, all these plants, they are source of modern medicine and traditional medicines. And I remember Ananda saying that we don't know which disease will be sorted out by which particular plant. So we need to take care of everything. And then coming to SDG 6, so when I talk about the air, water, and soil pollution, then water supply, which is their part of the biodiversity, water quality, it's all about SDG 6. And if I talk about SDG 7, then it's energy also. All these SDGs are related to biodiversity, so it's become very, very important to understand what biodiversity is and how we can take care of biodiversity and in turn achieve the 17 sustainable development goals. So if I talk about, say, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, we need wood and we need so many other to build up our infrastructure, and the forests are of a great help there. So again, a balance there is required so that we can build our infrastructure also. Then SDG 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Here also biodiversity comes in, and all these are, consumption, responsible consumption and production also comes in there, where it's related to biodiversity. Now I begin with the idea sharing, for which I'm primarily here. I'll begin with e-waste. Come COVID. And then everybody decided to get the best of the best laptop and the mobile and the iPad, everything, because even the schools were changed. They were not those physical schools and every child needed to have a device. And the result was we started throwing these devices, and these devices became the landfills, and they became the dumps also, dumping grounds. So moving on, we initiated a project and we called it Rise Up for E-Waste. This was initiated on 1st of December. And then on 1st of December, and we focused on good health and well-being because we felt that e-waste is related to it. So in this project, we had 4,008 students, and we had 340 educators, and we had 37 countries who were participating in it. Let me talk about how did we go about. We felt that, students address sustainable development goal. I think a little faster I'm going. So it was week 1, we went for advocacy, and 1 and 2, and then it was 3 and 6. I'll be quick. So it was action, fundraising, and so on. And in this, we had 4 e-waste partners. Recycling plants had joined us, and they were all because we wanted to actually recycle. I don't know, but I'm running ahead. So, and then these e-cycle partners, you know, they help us to recycle the plant, the e-waste. And then e-waste and biodiversity, we made Christmas trees out of e-waste. It was creating awareness amongst the students that why we have to take care. Because when e-waste is there and we put it in dumps and when water comes in, all the chemicals, we have this mercury is there. And if it goes down, it affects the plants. Mercury goes there, it's poison. We have chromium in these e-waste devices. So all that affects the biodiversity. So we had n number of activities for that. We even went for art integration, save our oceans, and the e-waste was a threat. But if we talk about what was the impact, we've actually taken care of our e-waste. So we had 4,830 e-waste collection centers, and this was the e-waste which was collected. Some schools from Romania were there. मेरा ख्याल में थोड़ा हिंदी या पंजाबी में भी गाल कर, I'm sorry, I missed on this. So this is a school from Malaysia. और ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰਵੇ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ 4000 ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਸਰਵੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਐਡਵੋਕੇਸੀ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਵੀ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕੀਤਾ और प्रोजेक्ट्स ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸਿਬਲ ਕੰਜ਼ੰਪਸ਼ਨ था तो पोस्टर मेकिंग ਕੀਤਾ वेस्ट जनरेशन है लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ ई वेस्ट कार पूलिंग क्यों करनी चाहिए सो ऑल दिस वाज टू डू दिस वी इवन मेड अ ई न्यूज़लेटर भी बनाया ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਆਰਟ ਵਰਕ or everything was included in that and the live below water the poster making a dolphin show ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ sick oceans ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਚਾਨਣ ਪਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ aquariums और fishes और सारे ਨੂੰ ਸਾਂਭ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ and then these are the various posters we got from different schools and then ਇਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਥੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਔਨ ਲੈਂਡ ਫੋਟੋ ਸਟੰਟ ਮੈਂ ਆਈਡੀਆਜ਼ ਦੇ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਸਕ ਬਣਾਏ ਸੀਗੇ और फैमिली पिक्चर क्लिक करके वो शेयर किते सीगे so children from all around our country and different countries they shared this and we put it in an e-newsletter ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ 11 or 15 this is one project which you're very very happy about ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਲਾਗੇ ਦੇ 65 ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਡਾਪਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 300 ਸੈਪਲਿੰਗਸ ਲਾਏ ਸੀਗੇ 10 villages but covid ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਥੋੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਰੁਕ ਗਿਆ ਔਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰਪੰਚਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵਿੱਚ और टीचर्स पेरेंट्स लोकल NGOs फगवाड़ा एनवायरमेंट क्लब ये सारे ने ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਗ ਲਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ और इस तरीके ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ NCC ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਾਲੀ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਸੈਪਲਿੰਗ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ 'ਚ ਲਾਉਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਏਰੀਆਜ਼ ਕੁਝ ਬਣ ਜਾਣ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਔਰ ਚਿਲड्रन ਐਂਡ ਪੀਪਲ ਵਿਦ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ਨਸ ਕੁਡ ਰੈਸਟ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਡ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ 1000 ਮੈਡੀਸਿਨਲ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਟਰੀ ਅਲਜੁਨਾ ਲਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਫੋਰੈਸਟ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਲੈਂਡ ਥਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਬੈਲਟ ਨੂੰ ਸਟਰੈਂਥਨ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਐਂਡ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟੀਕਲ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟੀਕਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਮੌਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਾਇਓਡਾਇਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਨਾ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ ਇਹ 25 ਬਿਊਟੀ ਪੇਜੈਂਟ ਕੰਟੈਸਟੈਂਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਵਲੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਚ ਆਈਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 25 ਪੌਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਲਗਵਾਏ ਔਰ ਉਹ ਬੜੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਏ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ SDGs ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ so biodiversity is the key to achieve UNO 2030 agenda and our world our turn and we have to look into this so thank you so much I believe we are running short of time and hence it had to be very very quick so anyway thank you so much for letting me be here and now I would like to come stop sharing so that in case there are any questions okay all right I had to run through actually
yeah so thank you very much ma'am thanks for sharing your idea with us and you are doing so much for conserving biodiversity and अगर किसी दे कोई questions है we'll take 1 or 2 questions because already time काफी हो चुका है अगर किसी दे कोई भी questions हो we'll take 1 or 2 questions so you can raise your hand we'll unmute you so वैसे WhatsApp ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ easy access ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ questions ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ share ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ. I'll definitely share it with Paramjit ma'am. I hope she won't mind. I know this thing. I'm sure that she won't mind to share the questions with her. And now
the presentation was so good that the students are still trying to imbibe what she said. So maybe the questions will come by and by.
Yeah, exactly, ma'am. So now I request, before I request ma'am to propose vote of thanks, I would like to inform you all that we are organizing a photography competition, and the link is already shared in the WhatsApp group. And you all know, here also I would like to inform you that the last date is 3rd May till 12 noon. You can submit your entries by filling the Google form. And now I request Dr. Loveleen Brad, Scientist C, to propose vote of thanks. Please, madam.
Thank you so much, Kamal. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks. My sincere gratitude to our respected Director General for being the catalyst that stimulates us to do our best and standing as a pillar of strength. Thank you so much, ma'am. My sincere thanks to Director PGSC, Dr. Rajesh Grover, for his constant support and motivation. I extend my hearty vote of thanks to Ms. Ananda and Mrs. Paramjit Kaur for joining us today and motivating our participants. Thank you, both of you. My hearty thanks to all the schools, the teachers and students who have joined us in this campaign, 22 Actions for Biodiversity. Thank you, and we hope that you will actively participate and make this campaign successful. I may like to inform here that the winners of competitions organized during this campaign will be awarded on International Biodiversity Day, that is May 22nd. And also the best 3 schools who will perform the activities actively will be awarded on May 22nd. Last but not the least, I would thank my colleague, Ms. Kamaljeet Kaur, for coordinating with all the schools and colleges. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.